sci-fi action to like really intense elements of horror. Because they're watching like monsters fight, and a lot of people look at Godzilla and they're like, oh, it's just it's sci-fi, but it's also horror because you have these huge monsters fighting and destroying and unfortunate to say it, murdering millions of people, and it's really just people don't think about it that way.
And you're right about the buildup too. There's the countdown, there's just the breathing that you hear, and just the flashes of the monsters.
Yeah.
I love Godzilla in the latest series. Like I love that in 2014 he wins the fight then takes a nap. Like Godzilla
isn't that great?
Is such like a tired I gotta get back into this, and then he takes a nap and swims away, and then they blow up his house and Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is
what a bummer.
Yeah, it's stupid. And then everyone's like, oh, Godzilla's gone bad, but he's just trying to take out bad people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you blew up his house. Of course he's going to be a little annoyed.
Yeah, like, what, I mean, guys, that was like billions of years old. Like, this hidden Earth is cool, whatever, but that was my crib.
You know how long it took me to get that view? Thousands of years of erosion. You can't just get that overnight. You just can't call 1-800-WINDOW-NATION and put something up.
Yeah. Yeah, get 12,000 submarines and, load. But it's just... like, hey, we need to save the world. Godzilla's sleeping. Let's go blow up his home.
Yeah. When he's home, too. And that's the rude part. There's no knocking. It's just like, hurry up, get in and get out.
Yeah.
Should we say something to him? No, he likes surprises.
Like, if he was at his cousin's house, fine. Right? But not his house. What was his cousin?
Yeah, no,
does he have a cousin?
No, he doesn't. But in my mind, I like to imagine there's a cousin we just haven't discovered yet.
Like, just a cousin with a total, like, rundown cave.
Hey, G-Man, just watch where you walk this time, please. We just put the couch back together, man, and I like it, okay? I just really want to enjoy it, please.
It took 20,000 worshippers 40 years to build that couch, and you destroyed it.
We had to fight off Angirius twice.
Oh, my key's under there? No, but that's a perfect jump, too. I mean, because a lot of the initial marketing was based on that jump. I mean, I'm telling you, that scene made the movie a lot of money. Because it's just thematic, it's different, and it added a nice seriousness to it as well. And
it no longer felt like hokey. Not that the, Godzilla's from like the Toho series and everything felt hokey, but, in the moment, you can kind of forget that it's a man in a suit. But sometimes you look at it and you're like, it's just a man in a suit. But like you said, it adds this kind of reality to it. It adds this, groundedness like we talked about earlier. And it's just nice.
Oh, man. All right. So that was perfect. So I'll jump into mine. My first one, I'm going to save when Brian, I spell his brain, but when Brian saves Roman in Fast and Furious 6 during the highway tank chase. That they filmed in, let's see, I have so many notes about this one. They filmed it in the Canary Islands, right? And I listened to the commentaries and I watched the behind the scenes footage for this. And the director, he just really wanted the scene to show off the improvisational skills of Dom and his crew. So Justin Lin wanted to show that. And what I love about it, there's two great jumps here. So you have Brian saying, screw it, and just jumping his escort over the rubble. And the first jump they did, the car flipped, and then they did it just fine on the second one. But the reason that jump looks so cool is there's a second unit dolly crew on the other side of the bridge. So when that thing jumped on over the barrier in the middle, a dolly was rolling towards it with a camera with people pushing it, which is bonkers.
What?
Yeah, exactly. And so they
what?
Yeah, and they did the jump. They nailed it. The first one flipped, and I just love that jump. And then I love when Roman jumps on, but also I was gotta say, Paul Walker in cinema has the best freak out face. Whenever you watch a movie and Paul Walker freaks out, so Fast and Furious 4, when Dom's coming after him, the look on his face, and running scared, he has the best freak out face in cinema. Joyride. So just watch that. But then when Roman is about to get smushed by the tank, Roman jumps onto the escort. Then he crawls inside, but this is perfect because once he gets inside, instead of being scared, Roman goes, yeah! And then they both laugh and just smile at each other like a couple of idiots. And that's what I miss about the Fast and Furious world is I know the unfortunate passing of Paul Walker, you can't do that anymore, but the relationship between Brian and Roman, like they were so much fun. That was the fun of these movies. Like this Brian saying screw it, Roman jumping, the two of them just hitting their seats and smiling like little kids that they just completed this insane thing with death in the balance. But that's like one of my favorite moments in Fast 6. And then just researching it and just learning about like everything that went into it with the dolly shots and like watching the stuntman on a wire rig. They put that, the stuntman was on the wire rig and then he jumped from that car to another car. Like they really went out of their way, and they had 4 tanks on set. They had like 2 on truck chassis, a real tank, and then another tank that they put a fake turret on. But it was just also Justin Lin didn't want the car jump to be to be any other jump. He didn't want it to be a normal jump. So the way they show it, it's a different kind of jump. So it's everything about it, and the behind the scenes stuff, and just the reaction of Brian and Dom makes me Brian and Roman makes me so happy, because they're just a bunch of idiots and they're loving life that this happened. It's beautiful.
I mean, you couldn't have waxed more poetically about it, but I genuinely cannot stop thinking about the dolly shot. Now that you've told me that there's a dolly crew just pushing a camera towards this leaping automobile.
It's nuts. And they showed like the second unit key grip. He was talking about it. He's like, yeah, they wanted us to lay dolly track and like get this shot. And then they showed what it looked like behind the scenes, and then when they did it. But that's what I love about this scene. I mean, they had the people jumping from cars. This isn't like a totally... I mean, obviously there are CGI elements. They had to take out the cables and everything, but they really had cars jumping and flipping and diving, and I mean, it's just insane the stunts that they did. But I'm telling you, man, the smile on their faces and how happy they were about it. That's like my favorite moment. It's just beautiful. Just watching how happy they were. That's why I had to include it.
I mean, how else would you? I mean, yeah, like you said, normally people would just be like kind of screaming and freaking out, but just to be so excited that you nailed it, so excited to be alive. I think there's just so much to celebrate in that moment. Like, there's nothing else you could say.
I'll just and then but imagine that you and I do that. You somehow jump an escort over like a barrier on some rubble. You land it and you don't die, right? You are sweating. You're feeling queasy. Then I somehow make a jump onto that. Man, would we give a high five, or would just, because you still have to escape the tank behind you.
Yeah, but I tell you what, we would high five the entire time to a Zaxby's and have some fantastic chicken.
Man, wait, I think it would hit us like an hour later.
Yeah.
Dude.
We'd be on our third set of tenders and their Zaxby sauce and just be like, hey, you know what's dawning on me?
Yep.
You know you jumped onto my car, right?
Yeah, halfway through my birthday cake shake, I would just be like, dude, you jumped rubble to save me.
Oh, yeah, I did, huh?
Pass the tenders. That Texas toast is so good.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to get a couple more pieces. Do you want more?
Yeah, man, yeah. Give me another shake. And then we just leave totally full and feeling miserable.
Yeah. But then we drive slow to let our food digest and then hope for the best.
Oh, I love it. All right, what's your second pick?
My second pick is going to be one that builds throughout an loosely related trilogy, and that's the fence jump from Shaun of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
As Shaun and his compatriots are rummaging through some backyards to find a quick way to the Winchester, they come across a series of fences. One of them is very unsure about it. He's like, I don't know, Shaun. He's like, what, you never taken a shortcut before? And he goes to jump the fence and just doesn't nail it. The fence falls down as he jumps, and it's just this comedic moment because you're expecting them to, like, some really cool moment where he jumps and he bites it, and it's so funny. But then they build on it. Later on, when they're in Hot Fuzz, you see Simon Pegg leaping over several fences. He even does like a double flip over the one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it gets funnier and funnier. But that first initial one, like, you really think he's going to get one over on this guy. Like, I'll show you, man. Like, this is, I'll let you know what's up. But he just doesn't nail it. And there's even some like genuine reaction. Like, you could see Liz kind of look down with like a little bit of a smile on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it looks painful, but heartwarming at the same time. Like, I think his pride was hurt more than anything else.
And he plays it off really well too. And then he gets to jump over a trampoline later over a fence. So
and nails it.
Yeah. So he gets some retribution later on, but I listened to the 4 commentaries on the Shaun of the Dead Blu-ray to hear the reaction to all of this, and on each of them, people called it a woofer in a good way, and every time people are like, "Wait for it," and then everyone just laughed, and then someone went, "Whoo!" Like there were so many different laughs. Like people love this scene; they love watching him wipe out. And I guess what's funny is the line producer on it. I'm sorry if I'm Mark explaining to you, Nick.
No,
but like,
no.
The line producer there's in charge of all the money, and so
Okay.
like they're the bottom line because Stone Cold says so. Well, line producer. Simon Pegg did a lot of the gag where he jumped over the fence with the trampoline, and I guess the people are going nuts that he did that stunt with the trampoline stunt because he had to do some rolling. But I don't know. I love I love the slapstick. I love the callbacks to like Hot Fuzz when Nick Frost just goes right through the fence. I mean, that's just beautiful. But it's just a good gag. And you know what's interesting? Like, you finally had a chance to make Sean look heroic.
Mm-hmm.
And he just biffs.
Yeah. Yeah. But then he does get his kind of cool Ferris Bueller moment when he hits the trampoline.
Yes, that trampoline scene. And he goes pretty high. And he does a good roll.
It's not a little. A great roll. It's that Max Shrek thing. Again, it's that momentum.
Yeah, parkour. The Office stole that, of course. But, you know, everyone shares those memes thinking The Office created it.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Simpsons did it first, really, but...
Oh, really? Did they?
I'm going to assume they did. Everybody else says it. Anytime something happens, everyone's like, oh, the Simpsons predicted it. Or they just got lucky. What do you want me to say?
Let's just write a cartoon where we try to predict things that happen in 10 years. And then when it happens, we just go for it. But no,
it could be like the jet skis doctors did it first.
Oh, we did it, Tom. When I saw Tom Waits in Licorice Pizza and they were about to do a motorcycle jump, I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Jet ski.
I was so excited, yet at the same time disappointed. I'm like, we could have been at a pool. There's plenty of Olympic-sized pools in LA, I'm sure.
All right, Sean Penn, let's go to my pool and do a jet ski jump. William Holden.
A sea-doo with your name on it.
Literally, it's your edition, William Holden jet ski. Oh man, but no, this is a perfect jump because it takes wind out of his sails. He gets retribution, and then they play with it later in the franchise. Also, World's End features a great jump when he jumps off the building and or I guess he doesn't really fall. Yeah, I guess when he just falls onto the car, and she's like, "Well, you should have done the fire escape."
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, no, perfect scene. I love it. When you brought it up, it made me so happy. All right, now
good.
I'm gonna mix it up. I got some big hitters, but I'm not gonna use them until the second half of this episode. So I was originally not going to do this, but one of our friends, Elizabeth, told us we were talking about, I was prepping for this jump episode, and she's like, there's a jump in this movie called Outrageous Fortune. And when Shelley Long, it involves Shelley Long, you know, Bette Midler's in the movie, came out in 1987. Hey, Bette Midler was nominated for a Golden Globe. Hey, it made, $66 million worldwide in 87. So it made bank. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this scene where they are at the very end, you have Shelley Long's character. And she is being chased by this guy named Michael because he wants to unleash this biotoxin on the world. But so they're in this. What was the name of it? I just wrote it down. Oh, they're in the Four Fingers, the Mesozoic Cliffs. And Shelley Long, Lauren Ames, the character, uses her ballet skills to to jump over these Four Finger Cliffs. And so I just love when she jumps over one, jumps over another. Then there's this massive jump. And the Superman score kicks in, and she just does this grand jeté through. I had to look up how to say this word because I was going to say grand jeté, grand jeté, and she just does this beautiful grand jeté from one end to the other. And then Michael goes to make the jump. He almost makes it, grabs onto the rock, then falls to his death. But the best thing about it is she's like, 9 years of ballet, asshole. It's just such a beautiful scene. Like the director said they wanted to make like a buddy movie, but with like basically a male buddy movie, but with 2 female leads. And it's just, listen, this is a chase scene that involves someone using 9 years of their ballet experience to use a grand jeté to make a massive jump. And then this dude behind her can't make it and he dies. Like she saves herself because of her 9 years of ballet and her grand jeté. This is a really funny moment, man. It just makes me happy.
And to just think on your feet like that as that character and go like, here's how I'm going to do this, and then nail it. Like if it's the Olympics, at least a 9.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And with the pressure involved, a lot of Olympians don't do their their stunts, or not their stunts, their routines over, death-defying cliffs.
No.